But cookies are crumbling. I mean, like actually, literally, third-party cookies are going the way of Kodak. And I think it's actually a good thing, but here's how it's gonna start impacting small business marketing. Okay, so really quickly, let's establish what a cookie is. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you know what a cookie is, but just in case. Basically, a cookie is just a little like bread trail that gets planted on your computer when you visit a website that allows them to then track and remarket to you for having visited, you know, whatever that particular website happens to be. There are websites like Amazon that then their cookies go a lot deeper and they track what you've looked at and then they feed you ads based on what you've looked at. Same thing happens with a lot of social media cookies as well. But we are starting to see a lot of privacy concerns rising about this. We saw a couple of years ago that Europe rolled out the GDPR stuff, and that was a whole mess of things for people. It just made it easier for a lot of small businesses to just say, I'm not going to even mess with cookies because I don't want to have to mess with all of the privacy concerns there. But beyond that, it is starting to spread, and more websites are starting to say, yeah, we're just not going to actually mess with cookies. So on the one hand, when it comes to small business marketing, I think a lot of small businesses may not necessarily be using cookies as is, because again, there's been a lot of like legal concern on this front. And for a lot of small businesses, like taking time to parse through all of that isn't necessarily like the easiest thing to do. But whether you've been using cookies or not, there is a shift that is starting to come inside of marketing, and this is going to impact how small businesses are marketing. Now, the crazy thing is, it's not necessarily an unforeseen shift. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about doing now that the cookie is starting to slowly get phased out more and more is stuff that we've been talking about doing for a while. We're just actually having to prioritize it a little bit more. So it is stuff like focusing on first-party data collection. First-party data collection is when you have an opt-in on your website and you are collecting data or access contact marketing information from people directly in order to be able to remarket to them. Now, a lot of advice when it comes to first-party data collection is offer value in exchange for their contact info, which is 100% accurate. Where we've gotten a little bit off track, if you've been following my channel for any time, is we have started to prioritize education as the only form of value. That's not true. In fact, there's an even better way to add value to people's lives that will make them want to opt in to be part of your list, to give you their data, and they will do that without necessarily having to like read a whole like spreadsheet. In fact, there is a much better way to convince people that they want to be involved with your brand and give you their contact information. And that is leveraging emotion. Now, there's two reasons for this. One is emotion is a huge piece of the brain. Like a huge piece of our brain is dedicated to processing emotion because that is how we have lived and survived as long as we have. Secondarily, emotion is what helps us feel human. And so we seek that out. We want to feel something. We pay for emotion all the time. We pay for books, we pay for movies, we pay for shows, we pay for emotion. And there is value in feeling something as a human being. And as a quick like caveat side note, education is only as valuable as it is information that I want and a source that I trust. And so if this is the first time someone is interacting with your brand, one, you can probably make an educated guess at what information they want, but you may not be the source that they trust to give them that information. So throwing out like education value-based, hey, do you want this like giveaway thing? There's just, you know, there's only so much people are going to give you. Case in point, I have a really great book that I give away as part of my presentations. So I wrote and released this book in 2023, and this has been one of my best like giveaways in exchange for contact information. Now, quick like caveat there, because it looks like I'm giving away information in exchange for their contact information. And to an extent, I absolutely am. But I am going much further than that, because what we have noticed is that the more fun I make the presentations, the more I help people feel enlightened and seen and heard and just special, the more people opt in when I do the giveaway at the end of the presentation. In other words, the education becomes valuable when I have also given them a reason to trust and engage with the brand, when I have sparked emotion and given them lots of value before we get to the point of me asking for their contact info in exchange for a chance to win information. So back on track, do yourself a favor and start looking at what can I do that is going to cause my prospects to feel something when they engage with my brand, whether that's through social content, whether that's through a pop-up on your website. Find something that is going to make them feel good that will make them more inclined to want to engage with your brand. Next, focus on contextual advertising. Contextual advertising is something that rather than necessarily relying on a sticker and then or a cookie and then throwing out a, hey, here's something we think you'll like based on the fact that we know you visited this website, start putting together posts and flyers and material that speaks directly to your ideal buyer. For example, we have a sticker that we've been using with Grow Disrupt for a long time now that has done a phenomenal job in attracting the right individuals and getting them both opting in on the first party data collection, but it has also gotten them engaging with the brand. And that is, we have this sticker that really does a great job of helping people feel special as entrepreneurs, because as you can see here, it's pretty, but it also you can actually see how it's all the things that maybe are challenging about being an ADHD entrepreneur, but then it's also what leads to your opportunity for growth. And so that design itself sparks an emotional response in the right person. So think about how you can start to structure your marketing in a way that is going to speak directly to the person you want. There is so much about this sticker that speaks directly to the ADHD entrepreneur. Next up, you're going to want to do your target market research. So you need to dig in and find out, who are your people? Where are they hanging out online? Where are they hanging out offline? If you're going to do contextual advertising, especially stickers, flyers, handouts, booklets, whatever you want to do, you are going to need to do that in the places they are hanging out. And so you're going to need to do some research to find out, hey, I want to market to this individual and here's where they are hanging out. Now, I will give you a quick warning here. Look up some of the other videos on my channel about this, but the more detailed you get, the better you're going to be able to focus your marketing and the better that contextual marketing is going to do. And the last tip that I'll give you here is build communities. Instead of focusing on just collecting data, focus on building an actual engaged community of people. So this could be newsletters. Yes, absolutely. But if you are sending out newsletters, make sure you are also doing everything you can to get people to engage with that newsletter regularly. Have loyalty programs where people are wanting to be engaged with you. And I would encourage you to have your loyalty program go far beyond just purchases. Think about this. What if people are getting points? Maybe they get 1 point for every email they open. Maybe they get 15 points for every dollar they spend, right? But if they are still racking up points, and yes, it's something you may have to add up manually, but especially for most small businesses, they are not at a point where adding this up manually is going to be that much of a pain in the butt. You can usually extract data, upload it into ChatGPT and have it add it all up for you. But you could create a loyalty program where people are feeling engaged, even if they are not necessarily buying. You can also do webinars. This is a great way to get people to engage. I used to think it was a waste to market my webinars to my own list because I was like, oh, I've already got the lead. Why do I need to market to that? But turns out not so much. Because if I can get someone who's on my list to come to a webinar, they are engaging with the community. They're more likely to engage with my newsletters. They're more likely to engage with a loyalty program, with a group. They are more likely to talk about me to other people. And so think in terms of building a community, not just in terms of collecting data in order to market, but in terms of how you can draw people in to make something really special happen for them. Whether you've been using cookies or not for marketing is kind of a side moot point at this point. This is really the direction we have been going for a long time in terms of marketing for big business and for small business. And the small businesses who can figure out how to do this really well are going to thrive over the next few years because people want to be part of a community. So, do they want to be part of yours?